And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is the 6th of January, Tuesday, 2026. Yeah, 2026. 2026. Hope you're having a good day. As always, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets. We'll do the markets. The economy, your job, your industry, and a couple of certain industries today to cover. And if you do not get this, by the way, and we'll do the Morlocks also in D.C., we'll see, blah, 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 blah. You know what I did today? I left the news off. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. You don't follow us on X, you should. Just put our name in. We'll also post it on podcast apps and the YouTube channel of BizTV. And if you'd like to email me, it's pretty simple. You just have to be on the nice side. Ladies and gentlemen, there are days we can do news. There are days that we want to do markets, and more markets. So I want to start out and finish with markets today. The big question we got asked in the last day was about oils. And you know what I said to everybody? I'm agnostic. The reason, and the question was asked because of Venezuela. The reason agnostic is I think there's just so many moving parts. I'm pretty sure it's going to take a couple of years. And we still don't know how this is going to play out as far as extraction of oil and who's going to be the extractors and whether it's going to be us or them or who or what. And as you know, I am not a fan of us being a part of that, but they don't give a crap what I think, so that does not matter. All I can tell you is the oil stocks that had a good day yesterday, on the perception that they are going to benefit big time from this, were hit pretty hard today. I'm staying away. We'll let you decide. Chevron gave back the whole move, down $7 and change today. That was one of the main names talked about. The refiners, they didn't give back that much, but Marathon Petroleum was down $4.50. How was $3.50 for Phillips 66? These are refiners. Valero wasn't so bad, down 2 and change, so that's still sticking up there. But I have to tell you, I kind of have an idea about oil and how it works. I've studied Phil Flynn, one of the brightest people when it comes to the energy markets and how he looks at things. I just don't think oil prices are going higher a lot. If anything, I think they're going to go lower. That's my overall thought. You got a president that wants to drill, baby, drill, and I don't know if they're drilling more, whatever. And in case you don't know, the production of oil under Biden was fine. You know, the Trumps and the right were complaining about him, but they were drilling. So as far as oils, I'm very agnostic. I'm just not going near them. I don't see a reason to. There are many that believe that oils are going to catch up to the other commodities that have been going crazy. Well, let me give you a hint. Symbol, USO. That is the exchange traded fund for the spot price. Number one, you want to know if it's going to go higher? It would first have to break above $70.58. It would then have to move above $72.34. It would then have to move above 74 and a quarter. It would then have to move above 78.32. It would then have to move above 81.13. It would then have to move above 83.57. It would then have to move up above 84.58, which is January of 25, which would be just about the high of April of 24, which was just about the high of September of 23. And then it would have to get above 92.20, which was June of 22. And then it would have to get above, you have to go before COVID, you'd have to go above 106.56. And then 129.90. You get my point? We don't have to wonder or listen to what anybody believes or what anybody predicts. All we have to do is watch price. And if price doesn't move above that first number I gave you, it has no chance. Even if it moves above the first number, you got to hit the second number and get above it. If it doesn't get above it, it has no chance. That's how you do it. Sometimes it's as simplistic as optics. So when you hear all these predictions and what's going to be in 2026, I must tell you, you know what the favorite stock of 2026 for a bunch of people that I saw was Tesla. So far in 2026, Tesla is down $20. That's all. In order to be the best stock of 26, it'll have to get that $20 first, and then so on and so forth. Tesla was down $20 today. The story goes, and as we have told you, their car numbers are terrible. Everybody's saying buy it because of robots and driverless stuff. But there's tremendous competition in robots and driverless stuff. So we'll see how it plays out. I know some fundamentalists that think this stock is worth 50% lower. I know some that say it's going to 3,000, and some pretty smart people. We'll let the market decide. So we just wanted to start with the oils and just head on over to Tesla, because that had a rough day today. But then we want to discuss new highs. What do new highs mean in markets? Well, there's this line. New highs beget new highs. When a stock goes into new highs, that's good. When a group and its chart goes into new highs, that's better for the stocks in that group. When an index goes into new highs, that's good for a lot, depending on what that index is. That's why whenever something breaks into new high ground, we tell you about it. Why? The line, new highs beget new highs. And if you're going to get a double and a triple, a quad, if you're going to get 20% move, well, you can get a 20% move over something that's crashed, that has bounced. But if you're going to get a big monster move, it's usually going to hit a certain list, and that's the new yearly high list. And that's why we talk about it. So we just want to let you know, for starters, the Dow hit a new yearly high. In fact, it hit a new all-time high today. The mid-cap 400 names hit a new all-time high today. Actually, I want to make sure of that before I yap. Yes, it did. Mid-caps. Now, there's no rule that it doesn't turn tail and head lower. And I must tell you, last year, the small caps did it a couple of times, hit highs, and just went. But we're dealing in real time here, and we have a market that is definitively better. And we want to let you know that the Dow, which is price weighted, and you must know that you have certain stocks in the Dow that are such a big deal versus some that mean nothing. Up next, we'll continue along New Highland. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, what's up? So we want to start off with new yearly highs, new all-time high on the Dow, and the same for the mid-cap 400. We'll just start with those. But I want to mention in the Dow again, I want you to listen carefully because it is muy importante. If Verizon, I'm going to use Verizon. You know why? It's the lowest price stock in the Dow now. If Verizon, which closed at $40.30, 40.3 times 6.5 equals, if it went to zero, Verizon, it would only cost the Dow 262 points. If it went to zero. If Goldman Sachs went to zero, what did we say about Verizon? Only 262 points. If Goldman Sachs went to zero, it would be 6,207 points. You got that? What is that, about 23, 24 times as important? So when it comes to the Dow index, it's imperative you pay attention to the higher price names. The lower price names, Verizon, Nike, and by the way, something like a Nike has earned that lower price by dropping. Hit a high of 180 back in 21. It's now 65 today. But we just want to let you know that's how we look at the Dow. And it's easy. It takes me 3 minutes to just scan 30 charts in the Dow. I can tell you, Apple, very weak, breaking the 50-day badly now. Wow. NASDAQ was up 151 today. The NASDAQ 100 was up 238, and Apple was down $5. Amazon been doing nothing for a year, but was up 8 today and may start to emerge. Maybe. That's how we roll with this stuff. Salesforce.com, big bear market, trying to come out of it. Chevron had a couple of good days because of Venezuela, right back down today. Home Depot in a bear market, stay away. Coca-Cola, that whole food, drug, beverage, tobacco, household products, just bear market or comatose. So the Dow's kind of easy. Mid-cap 400 less, you got 400 names. But that hits new highs. The Russell 2000, that's 2,000 names, has not hit highs, but you know what it just did? Held the 50-day moving average and is getting close. That would be nice. Russell 2000 is above the old high of 2024 and 2021, so actually a little bit stronger than the mid-caps. So a little bit of the broad base. What else? The semiconductor index, new high today. Muy importante. How about the financials, XLF, new high, past 2 days. How about the banking index, the KBWB, new highs. And what do we tell you? New highs beget new highs, and when the indices get new highs, it is usually meaningful. Until we tell you otherwise. So we want to start with that, a good day. And we can tell you, well, yields are up. Well, how do we have a good day? We can tell you the dollar was up today. Shouldn't the market go? No, the market was up today. So we've come out of the box into the new year. We were drifting lower. You had some bad action into the end of the year. And we are in fuego to start the year. Not only with new highs, but with gaps. Walking into gaps in probably the most important area of the market, and that is the semiconductors. And those areas that we've been saying to you, the data storage, semiconductor equipment, and all that crap. And there was news that came out that brought up a stunning move today. Let me read it to you. Samsung and SK Hynix, by the way, South Korean companies, I do believe, seek up to a 70% server DRAM prices, dynamic random access, blah, 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 price hikes as the boom tightens supply, demand outstripping supply like crazy. What happens today? What are the benefactors of higher DRAM prices, as we have told you? Micron, SanDisk, Seagate, Western Digital, and should be also electronic contract manufacturers and the semiconductor equipment companies, because they're saying there's going to be a lot of building. And what did they do? Another gap in move. Let me tell you what they did today. SanDisk. I don't think they know what hit them. Up 27% today. How about Lumentum, which was down to 340 today, closed at 397, up 40. Seagate, up 14% today, into new highs. Western Digital, as mentioned, up 16% today, into new highs. The equipment makers, not even close to those. Micron was up about 10%. Equipment makers up 3-4%. Strong day. The stocks up about 3%. A lot into new high ground. New yearly highs in the market expanded markedly. Why would that be? Because the indexes are going into new highs, and when you have 401, 2,000 another, 30 in another. Oh, by the way, the S&P, which is definitively being held back by weakness in Apple and Meta and Microsoft and Netflix and Tesla and even Nvidia, that even got a little bit above the old high. That's 500 big names. So it's pretty simple to explain. If these breakouts to new highs stick, we're going higher. Up next. But what else? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. The transports, not a new all-time high, but a new weekly closing high on the transports. Anybody who thinks the economy's going into the dumps, they ain't watching the market. Now, we believe there is definitive component going on. You listening? We reported to you weeks ago that Jay Powell was going into easy money. Jay Powell again, not just he lowered rates from 5.25 to 3.5. Remember all that printed money? that Ben Bernanke said would only be temporary. Remember all that printed money Jay Powell printed all the way to $9 trillion freaking dollars? Well, they were letting it run off. What does that mean? Well, they took all that fake money, and by the way, it's fake. It's conjured up. They took all that money and they interfered with the biggest market in the world, the bond market, our bond market. And he bought the living hell out of bonds, our bonds. And he bought long, medium, short. And of course, the bond market itself knew that, so bought bonds along with them. Hey, thank you. And all that money, and it's an unimaginable amount, took the 10-year yield down to 0.5%. That got you your mortgages 3% and lower. You know all this complaint from Trump on Powell? You should be kissing his butt. Any of you with those low mortgages should be kissing his butt. It was an artificial move by one man and his whims that got you that 3%, but it wasn't going to last. Why? Because he created all that freaking inflation. It was him. So that had to unwind, and we got to get to normalcy. And he went farther than he needed to, and now he's pulling it back. Trump is still complaining, and he shouldn't. He should be happy as all hell that he's gone from 5.25 to 3.5, but Trump's got to whine against somebody every day. Remember, for some people, there's always got to be an enemy. So he got up to $9 trillion of printed money, and he started to let it run off, and that simply means when a bond came due, they have maturities, just goes by the wayside. So the $9 trillion became 8.9, 8.8, 8.7. He let them run off. They called it quantitative tightening because instead of printed money, they called it quantitative easing. They don't want anybody to hear, I'm printing money. Jay Powell just announced and is now putting into place. No more quantitative tightening. So, if a bond matures, he's buying more bonds. And guess what the market loves? Buying bonds. It's called liquidity. The perception of. And where it takes the market beats the hell out of me. But all we can tell you is that the market has expanded, not just in the new yearly highs, but in areas that were dormant. Remember, for a long time we were telling you to avoid this, and this, and then all of a sudden we came out and said, you don't have to avoid this, and this anymore. They're turning the corner type of thing. And that's what went on. And that's what's going on now. And we'll see where it takes us. Simple as that. And just a strong day. I can pick out an area. Oils were weak, but gold and silver strong, and they've been crazy recently. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium have been gapping up and gapping down like crazy. Normally, I would be telling you, oh, this signs of a top. I even said that the other day. Let's see if this ends up a sign of a top. Because typically, after a good rally, once you get wide swings, it's usually sign of a top. Nah. Silver went into new high ground today. And there are those out there that's saying this augurs bad. That this is troublesome. This is a problem and the markets are going to get killed because of what we are seeing. No, that's what they're saying. There's only one problem with that. Big indices are into new high ground. And in order for the market to now get in trouble, listen carefully. The breakout into new yearly highs for the indices has to fail. That would be number one. That would be number one. Number two, the S&P would have to break 68.14. It's 69.44. Then it would have to break 67.20. And then it would have to break 65.50. You catching my drift on the other side? We don't have to listen to anybody. Just follow the markets. They'll tell us everything. And that's just the S&P. We mentioned the financials. The XLF breaks out. New high. Well, the first thing that would have to happen is tuck its head in like a frightened turtle. It would have to come in. And then it would have to break 54.34 on the downside. And then it would have to break 52.64 and then 51.08. And then so on and so forth. Again, we don't have to worry about what people think. You do know Wall Street, everyone's predicting a higher Wall Street. Well, they're already getting it. But none of them know where things are going to be at the end of the year. There's too many variables. What we do know is you have some lower taxes. What we do know is we don't think the president's ever going back to Liberation Day tariffs. What we do know is that yields have been stable. What we do know is oil prices have been coming down for a year. What we do know is the dollar keeps suffering, and markets love weak dollars, believe it or not. What we do know is housing stocks are still very weak. Job stocks are still very weak, like AADP and Paychex, and we avoid them. What we do know is the food and beverage, tobacco and household products and alcohol stocks are in a bear market. We ain't going near them. But other areas that had been weak have been coming on. Airlines, cruise lines, much better. Hotels, much better. I think Marriott broke into new high ground at the close today. Yeah, it did. So we're just making a point. If new highs stick, we're going higher. Duh. If they tuck in like a frightened turtle, we'll be telling you. And in a very newsy environment like we have. And then there's the demand for chips. And we're not talking potato chips. The numbers they're talking about have these stocks in data storage, data, semiconductor equipment, and the like. Dang. And they just waited for the new year. Gap up, gap up, gap up. What does tomorrow bring? Beats the hell out of me. And we're broader based, which means more areas of the market in participation. If that changes, we'll let you know. If anything tops out, we'll let you know. If anything shows up, we'll let you know. And take it from there. Other potential positives is the regulatory environment. They're doing a job on that. As you know, we are a big believer that government has had too much of a reach on regulations, too onerous. I've been looking up some things, and I'm seeing some decent things that they're doing on a federal level. Other things, not so sure, but time will tell. But my main point for today, new highs. Tomorrow's another day. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, by the way, we're heading into football playoffs where we'll start giving our picks. As you know, in the playoffs, we're so good. The Super Bowl since 2000, I think we lost 3 or 4. And the playoffs were killer. So we'll start giving out some picks. It's a weird one this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got an email, and this is my little bit of a worry. And it's a little heads up for you. Let me read this email. It's because I'm a business. It's like a cold call email. Hi there. I'll keep this quick. We run a US-based firm, listen carefully, offering AI-powered virtual assistant services that help busy professionals lighten their workload. We take care of prospecting, CRM updates, scheduling, bookkeeping, and more with reliable VAs who communicate, that's virtual assistants, who communicate just like an in-house assistant. Would you be open to a quick call to see if this could be a fit? Just reply yes with your number. We'll take it from there. Let me tell you what the bull crap is in this. The 2 letters AI. An AI-powered virtual assistant? What the hell is that? A virtual assistant. I'm letting you know a lot of people are just making it up and just putting AI to anything they do because it's hot. I want you to remember this. An AI virtual assistant. An AI... What? For prospecting? How's that going to help? What would AI do in prospecting? You catching my drift? Customer relation management? AI. What is it going to do? So I'm just letting you know there's a lot of that going on Wall Street also. There are companies making an announcement on artificial intelligence that are absolutely meaningless just to goose their stocks. Seriously. And I'm not saying it's not going to be the end-all, be-all. I'm saying there's a bunch of bullcrappers out there. They could have just sent me an email without AI-powered and just said, we run a US-based offering virtual assistant services that help busy professionals. No, it's an AI-powered. Stop. They ain't getting my business. I know better. So be careful. I don't think it's a reach to make fun that we're going to get artificial intelligent hamburgers and who the hell knows what's next. All I know is right now I can put in a question, what is the best European country to visit in April? And it'll come up with some AI-powered answer that I can get anywhere. I can go to a regular... You catching my drift? And again, they keep telling me AI is going to help you see cancer, cure, all kinds of things they say it's going to do. Take place of this, that, and the other thing. All kinds of things. Okay. Terrific. We'll see. Just wanted to bring that up because I got this email, and I guess they think I'm stupid. So just welcome to the world. Just letting you know. It's quite interesting how this works. In the news, interesting. Venezuela. We'll just finish off with that. It's interesting to find out people are getting attacked for not being happy about the ongoing things in Venezuela and the call for running Venezuela. And they're being attacked by people that were completely against that same thing. I just want to let you know politics are about hypocrites. They'll change their stripes to suit their guy or gal without even thinking how stupid and hypocritical they look. It's kind of funny. I'm not going to mention who, but somebody I know pretty well is getting attacked, is on TV all the time, and is getting attacked big time for saying the exact same things this person has been saying about nation building and going into countries and running the countries and more. And she's getting attacked for the exact same things she's been... There was a hint right there. Been saying for a long time and attacked by people that agreed with her forever and now all of a sudden don't, because it turns out the president is the exact opposite of what he said he was. Don't be a hypocrite. Keep your principles, regardless of who. You'll be better for it. I love they took the guy out. I hate they're saying they're going to run the place. I hate that they're talking Greenland and others. It nauseates the hell out of me. We'll stick to our principles. You have a great evening. Drive carefully when you get home. Do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise they will be well. Appreciate your time and listening. Good night, all. Bye-bye.